This is an incident that unfolded just after 7 o'clock in this park in the centre of Reading. We understand that multiple people were stabbed. The information that we are now receiving is that 3 people have died from their injuries. A number of other people are being treated in hospital for their injuries. Air ambulance and other emergency responders were very quickly on scene and tending to those who'd been stabbed, but it's clear, in addition to those who are believed to have died, a number of the other people who were injured have been quite seriously injured this evening. Now, a source has told me that authorities are working under the assumption that this incident is terror-related. We are expecting some kind of statement from the police, a more substantial statement from the police, probably within the next hour or so. Of course, as I say, it unfolded at 7 o'clock this evening. Police have been trying to piece together the exact circumstances around what is now believed to have been a terrorist incident. We know that one man has been arrested. Now, the Press Association is reporting that this man was a Libyan national. We have not been able to confirm that line for ourselves, but that is being reported by the Press Association at this hour. We have been able to confirm through our own sources that 3 people are believed to have died, and as I say, that significant development that it is being treated as a terrorist incident. Now, of course, that has all kinds of implications for the authorities in terms of how they deal with this incident now, because any terrorist-related incident has a potential to have a wider threat alongside it. So, as a matter of urgency, the investigators from the South East Terrorism Unit, along with those, of course, at Scotland Yard, will be delving into this man's background, trying to find out who exactly he is, whether he was known to the police and security services. Sadly, of course, we have seen with other terrorist attacks that the majority of those who carry out terrorist attacks are known to the authorities, because these incidents rarely happen in isolation, in the sense that someone is often on a journey into extremism, heading down towards violent extremism, and they will often come across the radar of the police and the security services. We don't know at this stage whether this man who is in custody was known to police and security services. But even if he was, they have a judgment call to make to determine whether anyone should be worthy of a full investigation about the potential actions. But the urgent priority actually will be to determine whether there are other individuals out there who know this man, who associate with this man, who may have had knowledge of what the person that carried out the stabbing attacks was planning, whether there is any wider threat in terms of the potential for other attacks. We know, of course, the terrorist threat level at the moment has been reduced to substantial. It was reduced to substantial last year, having been at severe for a number of years. Severe, of course, means that a terrorist attack is highly likely. It was at severe in 2017 when we had those 5 terrorist attacks in the space of just 1 year. But the Joint Terrorism Analysis Centre, who look at the threat picture that's out there, they involve, of course, members of the security services and other security officials, determined that it should be reduced to substantial, still meaning that an attack is likely, but not highly likely, as the severe definition determines. So that, of course, will be reviewed as well in the coming hours. If they get information of the potential of others out there, or potential for other attacks, then of course the threat level would be increased, but there is no indication that that is on the cards at this stage. We're still in the very early stages of a police and counter-terrorism investigation. As I say, we're hoping within the hour to hear a bit more from Thames Valley Police, perhaps from counter-terrorism policing as well, about the ongoing investigation. The Press Association reporting that the man in custody is a Libyan national, and we are reporting, of course, that they are treating this as a terrorist incident. One other point of clarification that's worth getting out there, Thames Valley Police have tweeted this evening to say that these multiple reports on social media suggesting that there is some link to Black Lives Matter are erroneous. There was a Black Lives Matter protest that took place in that area earlier today, as there has been in previous weekends as well. But they say there's absolutely no link that they can see to the Black Lives Matter protests. So worth getting that out there, and certainly with the confirmation that this is being treated at this stage, they believe, as a terrorist incident, it would seem to back up what the police are suggesting there as well. The injured have been taken to area hospitals. We know that the Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading has received a number of casualties. At least 2 of those seriously injured are in resuscitation, resus at the moment in the accident and emergency department, being treated by those doctors at the scene. So some significant injuries in addition to the 3 people who died. You can see in that image that we're showing you now 2 air ambulances among those that responded to the scene, to this park in Reading, to pick up the most seriously injured. In addition to these air ambulances, there were paramedic and senior paramedic officers that attended the scene as well. And in the early minutes after this incident, armed police were involved as well, because of course we had a suspect at large at that time. We understand that that suspect was arrested nearby. Now, there are other images circulating of an armed operation at a block of flats on the edges of this park. We haven't had it officially confirmed that that is linked to the man. You can see the images there of the block of flats, but certainly the suggestion from journalists down there at the scene in Reading is that the arrest, which involved armed police at this block of flats in Reading, is linked to the incident and is linked to the man who is now in custody, who, as I say, the Press Association is reporting is a Libyan national. The Home Secretary, of course, the Prime Minister and others being kept up to speed with what is happening. Priti Patel said earlier this evening that she was very concerned at the reports coming out. Similar sentiment from the Prime Minister, who has issued his thoughts with those who have been caught up in this attack, and thoughts with the police and first responders who have been dealing with what is clearly a very troubling, traumatic incident in this Berkshire town.